guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 2004 Ford Fusion. Yeah, I'm walking all the way down because Ibrahim has actually invited me to his ancestral house where this car is, which is also kind of ancestral now because this is almost 18 years old. Straight away we're going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle, which is a bit of a push and then pull. There you can see it says Duratec Ford, of course. There's no insulation here, but let's just shut this for a moment. Now, the Fusion in America or North America is actually a sedan. This was the European model which was brought to India, which is sort of a hatchback crossover. They call it the Fusion because it's a mix of a hatchback, SUV, crossover, MPV and a mix of almost everything. Anyways, you can see the lights are kind of big, of course. There were no LEDs at that time. And here is where you get the indicator of the car. No parking sensors, none of that bullshit, but it gets fog lights, it gets a towing hook and a decent amount of ground clearance as well. The car is in immaculate condition, which I can see at the moment. The tire size happens to be 195, 60, 15, wheel caps, no alloys. And yes, it kind of looks better than a hatchback. You got a real long antenna there, which you can see. And the mirrors, outside ones, are not finished in chrome or body color or any of that. You can see a lot of black, like the body side molding, door handles, mirror, as well as around the mirrors, rather windows. And it says Fusion right here. Now from the side, it is slightly more than 4 meters in length, so it did not meet the cut for small car norms, although at that time there were no small car norms either. Vertical tail lights, of course, and you get a rear wiper, high mounted stop lamp, and rear parking sensors I think have been added later. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will obviously hunt for the exhaust, which is not here because it is on the other side. There it is. Let's open the boot of the vehicle. You have to actually put the key. I've actually opened it from inside. Now the loading lip is really low, so putting stuff inside is extremely easy. And you know what, the seats of this car are absolute genius. Okay, spare wheel is full size, not an alloy because regular wheel is not an alloy, but I love the practicality in this car. Okay, check this out. Obviously it gets a 60-40 recline for the seats, but more important than that, you can just lift the seat like this. Okay, that it makes it even better to carry stuff if you so wish. And then on the other side you can do the exact same thing as well. So here I can lift this from here. Yeah, that's kind of cool. In fact, let me push this 60-40 split, but there's no center armrest, there is no center headrest, very small hump here. There's a cigarette lighter right there, and this is to actually, yeah, recline angle of the seat is adjusted from here. No height adjust, you can move it ahead or behind. That's kind of disappointing. Really scooped out seat back, magazine holder as well. Decent amount of knee room and leg room. Under thigh support is not the best. Headroom seems adequate. There's a handle here, there's a hook there. Seatbelt gets the height adjust function, which is kind of nice, and then you obviously get a light placement in the center as well. Meanwhile, you can see power window controls. They are a little different. It also gets an ashtray on both the doors at the rear, but no door pockets. So smoking was more important than taking stuff, of course, in those times rather. Now the good bit here is there is some secret storage space here as well. This seat actually, okay, it's kind of an effort, which has to be done with both hands. I managed that. So there's a secret storage compartment here below the co-passenger seat as well. And then the glove box is actually big enough. A lot of hard plastics here and there. There's a glove box holder here. I think there was a lid which is kind of broken at the moment. There are thankfully door pockets here. And I like the power window controls. They're quite nice and internally adjustable mirrors. Dashboard design is okay. It's not that great as such. But overall, the car looks fantastic. I really like it. That's the indicator. Everything is halogen, of course, but in those times this was a revolutionary car in more ways than one. So first and foremost, bag worthy needs to go on that side. Seats are actually decently comfortable, door pockets are fine, but the buttons are a little different, and this is obviously, I think, for the power window lock. This is the lock and unlock mechanism of the door, so there's no dedicated button to lock or unlock the doors. And of course you get lights which are very European like. Pull it out to turn on the fog lights, headlight leveler, just to open the boot of the vehicle. Lot of the stuff you see in this car right now actually came inside the Ford Figo. Yeah, a lot of it. Air conditioning is off. There's some storage space here. Single DIN audio system. This is the defogger. A lot of dummy buttons. This is the hazard light button. Galileo feels nice to hold. In fact, there is an ashtray or something of that sort. There's some storage space here. There's a power outlet there. What a practical car. And that's the handbrake. Maybe they could have had a front center armrest as well. Steering feels nice to hold. The horn, not that nice as such. And the steering wheel is adjustable only for, I think, height. Yeah, that's about it. The instrument cluster is actually a decent unit. It's very plain and basic, but I like the way the fuel meter has been done, and as well as the temperature meter. There's a clock on the right, and there's this. Okay, let me press this button. Odometer. Yeah, here I can change the time and all. Very basic. There's nothing exciting in that sense, but let's use the wipers right away to see how they work. Okay, I'm actually turned on the rear wipers. There you see there's good amount of spray on offer. There's actually quite a lot of spray on offer. I'm actually by mistake pressing the horn as well. No auto dimming inside your mirror. Light placement here on the top. Mirror. Oh, there's a mirror here, and there is actually a holder as well. Meanwhile, there's a holder here as well, and there is a mirror here too. There's no light as such. Overall dashboard design seems quite nice. Some amount of hard plastics here and there, which you can see. Audio system I'm not going to play because it's kind of going to be basic as such. You don't expect to have a very exciting audio system, because this was like a competitor to a lot of cars, including the Maruti Swift, which is an absolute legend. Let's do one thing. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning into first gear, handbrake down, and I think I also need to use the wipers because there's a little bit of dirt there. Now the good thing about the Fusion was the ground clearance. The ground clearance is so ample. Now you don't have to worry when you go on bad roads, which is a big boon. And then I think it was launched in around 2003-4, somewhere around that, and was on sale for 5-7 years or something of that sort. And then I think they replaced it with the Figo because the Fusion did not really sell because of the higher pricing, and then cost of spares was also on the higher side. Now the steering wheel is actually heavy, but thankfully it offers good amount of feel and feedback, and this is a car which is quite exciting to drive. It was available with a petrol engine at the start, which is the one we are driving. This is a 2004 model, and then look at the kind of sound it makes. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, that's like a lot of sound. Anyways, I'm just going to open the throttle in every gear possible, maybe mainly first and second, of course, because beyond that you can't really pull it anywhere. But you notice that the engine has a mechanical sound all throughout. So this is a 1.6 liter Duratec engine which produces 101 PS of power and 146 Newton meters of torque, resulting in 0 to 100 kilometers per hour coming in around 13 seconds, 13 seconds, and the top speed is 176 kilometers per hour. Performance is nice, but this is an engine, the more you rev it, the more it rewards you. So you really need to pull it hard to really appreciate the pulling performance of this vehicle. So low end is fine. I mean, motor feels refined lower down, but you have to really pull it to extract the best, because it's all about how is the top end grunt, and that's where it really excels. Brakes are fine, yeah, but they could do with better stopping power, I believe. But there's some sound which is there continuously. You can hear it, you can feel it. In the city, there's no issue at all because the clutch is on the lighter side. Only thing is when you engage the clutch, there's some sound. And the gearbox is such a beauty. It's so slick, it's so soft, it's so nice. Like, I love using the gearbox in this car. And yes, it's a car which is at home in the city. Only thing is, doesn't have that real grunt which you would expect. So not a bad car to drive in the city. Compact dimensions, good visibility. Mirrors are a bit small here though. Ford also launched a diesel version of this car, which I think came slightly later, which was the same engine which also went in the Classic, I believe, or the Fiesta, whatever you want to call it. Now the underpinnings are the same as the Fiesta, of course, and the result is that the handling is very nice. Firstly, steering is very nice, and there's some amount of body roll, but overall the car has that eagerness to offer fun around the corners. But the ride is a little bit on the stiffer side, so at low speeds it kind of does crash in through bad bumps, but high speed stability is very nice. With the diesel, they actually rectified this issue by having longer springs for higher suspension travel as well, and all that resulted in a better ride for the diesel, although the diesel is slightly stiffer, of course. But the diesel did not have the performance of this petrol engine. This petrol engine is an absolute blast. You want to know what exactly it means, a blast? Okay, now I recollect. The headlights of this car are very similar to the one on the Wagon-R. Now the thing is that there is no dead pedal here, so it's a little uncomfy when you get off the clutch, and there is a secret storage space for your cigarettes on the right side below. Anyways, you're going to get into second gear and listen to this, okay? It does get very vocal. The more you pull it, the better it responds. This engine is like a typical engine, which is you need to rev it to extract the best out of it, and redline comes in around 6000 RPM, and then when it redlines now, it really feels amazing. It sounds amazing, and this is the typical Ford character which actually people loved, with the Icon, with of course the Classic, the Fiesta, as well as the Fusion. But although people were really thinking of more about practicality and fuel efficiency, this car will return around 10 to 12 kilometers per liter, which is decently respectable, and I don't know why there's so much traffic today. Revving the motor. That is the wheel spin I was talking about, and listen to this. The tachometer is actually marked at 7000 RPM, and it indeed goes all the way to 7000 RPM. Absolute beast of an engine. Listen to this. Oh my goodness, this is what Ford 1.6 is all about. The way the engine pulls is absolute madness. I mean, this is one of the first few cars I've seen where the red line is marked at 7,000 RPM and it reaches there. It reaches 7,000 RPM. That is a level of madness. And then, you know, when you go to the top end, it really responds like a mad hooligan machine. Okay, again, you're going to get to the red line. 4,000 RPM in second gear and off we go. That is unbelievable sound. This car does not need an exhaust. It has this soul, it has that grunt, it has that mad feeling of pulling. Okay, this is Ford's version of the VTEC engine because so much fun, so engaging to drive, and then the steering is such a beauty as well. Like, it is so responsive and it doesn't feel heavy at lower speeds, it doesn't feel heavy at higher speeds, it just feels right. The weight of the steering is just so well calibrated that you never ever feel that there's any sort of wrong calibration here. So when you get into fifth gear, like I have done right now, it's very peaceful. It's like spinning the engine at around 1500 RPM. Very calm, very poised, no issues at all. You don't even realize you're driving a car with a monster of an engine. But then you decide, I need some speed. So second gear and it doesn't wait till the top end to actually become a hooligan. It becomes a hooligan around 3,500 itself. Gearing is so freaking tall that 6 to 7,000 RPM in second gear takes around a year or two to achieve. But once you do that now, your face is full of smiles and grins. Listen to this. In spite of such a fantastic engine with the grunt, with that feel, the Fusion unfortunately did not sell as much as it should have, and then Ford pulled the plug. In fact, this is a global model which in Europe was sold as the Fusion, and then obviously, you know, in America the Mondeo is actually sold as the Fusion. I don't know why they could have just called it the Mondeo, but yeah. But then that was also discontinued because Ford decided that in North America we just want to sell SUVs and stuff like that. So as I see it, it's a fantastic machine which can, I mean, the engine can give a run for its money to that motor, the VTEC motor. Short shifting is fine because like the car has grunt, but it really needs to go near the red line for you to completely go mad in love with this engine. You can hear that this car's just ready, that just rev me and take me to the red line. I'm waiting for it. Anyways, it's actually a very easy car to drive in spite of the fact that you get that feeling. It doesn't feel flimsy or light in any way. Nice build quality, obviously robust and stuff like that. I believe it got very good rating in NCAP as well. So here we're going to take a quick U-turn. U-turn is on now. Okay, U-turn is always on is what I believe. The cops are there. They didn't say anything, which means it was on, and here we go. There's a little bit of a drop from first to second gear when you're going full throttle, so I think there's no point pulling it all the way to 7,000 RPM unless and until you're looking at either blowing the engine or listening to all that sound. But still, that is the enjoyment, the redlining capability, the way this motor revs, the way it has that grunt and the sound and the intake noise, everything comes beautifully together to give you an fantastic experience. And then okay, I'm just going to get into neutral somehow and just going to apply the brakes to hear the refinement of this engine. So this is kind of the best of both worlds. When you really want to deplete all the oil resources of the world, this car can do that as well. And then if you want to drive sanely, it can do that as well. It all depends on your driving style actually. So you know what the price range for this car was? I think around 6 lakhs or so was the price, and that time the Swift, obviously being a Maruti, sold much better in better numbers because it had a lot more features. So I think airbags and all were optional. So there was a Fusion Plus variant also which had come. And obviously this is almost 20 years back, so I don't really remember everything because I was not even born then. But jokes aside, here we go. It takes its time to build, which is like the silence before the storm. Now obviously this is a 1.6 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine which has no bullshit called turbo because it doesn't have asthma, so no inhaler is needed. And here we go in second gear. I'm just going to pull it and here we go. Even when you lift off the throttle now, the sound is so soothing to hear. This car is all about the engine. Honestly, it's all about the engine. Then Ford learned its mistake that, you know, they need to get the fuel efficiency right. So they got a 1.2 litre engine in the replacement of the Fusion, which happened to be the Figo. They localized a lot of things. They decided to get child parts so that it was easier to repair in case of an accident and stuff like that. And then obviously the Figo did really very well, and then that feel of the Figo went with the latest generation model because it went lighter, and yeah, that's about it. Anyways, here I'm in third gear. Third gear is fine. You can see it kind of crashes through even rumblers, so ride quality was not the best, so a little bit stiffness because typical European setup, because this is a European car at the end of the day. But I need to get into second, and here we go. Yeah, brakes could be a little bit better as well. Otherwise, the driving experience is just fantastic here. Even the stocks are so reassuring to use. When I'm given indicator, I actually enjoy it. You have that click every time it engages. And here we go. That last 500 RPM takes some time to achieve. So guys, this is my vlog of the Ford Fusion, the 1.6 Duratec petrol from 2004, 18-year-old car, but still has the soul, still has the fun factor to it. And every time you go like this, it might sound it's going to explode, and it might even explode, but it sounds so damn good. Bye bye. Can we shut the roll?